Good morning. My name is Koinsor Shofowara. I'm Prince2 Certified Project Manager. I'd like to share this with us. This is a brief discussion on the Prince2 processes. I noticed that over time teaching Prince2 and also when I was learning it was a bit tricky to learn the processes and how they flow. So I recorded this video to help with that. So let's dive into the Prince2 processes. As we all know, there are 7 processes in Prince2. We have the starting of a project process, we have the directing the project process, we have initiating the project, we have managing the stage boundary, we have controlling the stage, managing product delivery, and closing a project. Starting of a project process is where we confirm the viability of a project. That project can be achieved, the project is worthwhile, and all that. Directing the project process is where the project board establishes their own control over the project. Initiating the project process is where all baselines are created, where we define most of the things we're going to be using during the project, how we're going to run the project, and we create the project initiation documentation there. Managing the stage boundary is where the project manager reports and plans end of current stage and the next stages respectively. Controlling the stage is where the project manager handles the daily activities of the stage. Managing the product delivery is where the teams come together to execute their own part of the project, which is to create deliverables. And finally, closing the project is where we hand over what we've done during the project as a fixed point where closing activities are done. So let's go into details now. What I have done here is to state all the processes the way I actually like to draw it. I have to find a way to make this work, but I hope this is good enough. Please, let's walk through this. I've labeled it to the best way I can with the application that I have. So this is the sequence flow. I'm also going to show us the sequence equation that I created in the next slide, but let's go through one after the other. The first process that the project kickstarts with is always the starting of a project process. That is triggered by the corporates when they create the project mandate. So what happens is the first thing in the start of the project process is the appointment of the executive. The executive, as we all remember, is the business representative, is the representative of the business stakeholders. So that's the executive, and it's part of the project board as well. So the executive is appointed, and the next appointment is the project manager's appointment. Sometimes it is the executive that appoints the project manager. Sometimes the project manager comes with the appointments of the project manager as well. And then the executive then goes ahead to appoint the rest of the project management team. Next thing that happens is we start creating documents. We have the project management team structure that is created by the executive and the project manager. We have the outline business case that is done by the executive. We have the project product description, which is created by the project manager consulting with the executive and the senior users. And then we have the project approach, which is done by the project manager with the senior suppliers. And then once all those documents have been done, we assemble the project brief. So the project manager does the assembling of the project brief. Remember, the starting of the project process is to establish viability, achievability, and project being worthwhile. That's what the project brief actually does, is to help us find a basis for initiating the project. But before this project brief document is passed to the project board, the project manager has to create a plan of how initiation, the establishment of the baselines, will be done. So he creates the document called the initiation stage plan. Once these two documents are assembled, the project brief and the initiation stage plan will be passed to the project board. Now, the project board consists of the three representatives of the stakeholder interests, which is the business, the users, and the suppliers. The executive represents the business interest, the senior users represent the user interest, the senior supplier represents the supplier interest. Remember, there's only one executive, okay? So the first thing they do is to go through the project brief and initiation stage plan, and they authorize initiation, okay? So you see the first thing they do is to authorize initiation, where the R&R takes them to initiating the project process. Once initiation is authorized, the project manager goes into initiating a project process, which we consider to be the first stage of the project, which is the initiation stage, the planning stage, to establish all the baselines for the project. We create all the documents here required to guide us to how we're going to execute the project. We always start by creating the approaches. The approaches are the approaches of how we're going to handle risk, how we're going to handle change, how we're going to handle quality, how we're going to handle communication. So we have the risk management approach, the change control approach, the quality management approach, and the communication management approach. Then the project plan and the registers will now come up. Once the project plan is created, remember this, it is only a draft until we consider the uncertainties inherent in that plan. So that is when we now identify all the possible uncertainties that could occur during the project, and we put it in the risk register. Of course, the quality register will also be created, as well as the opening of the issue register. And the issue register is going to be blank here because we don't have issues at this point. Then we go to set up project controls. Set up project controls is simply getting the tolerances given by the project board to the project manager documented, the reporting structure, how often the highlight report should come to the project board, and all. And then we now create a detailed business case. The detailed business case is going to be created by the project manager, which is using the draft created by the project board, by the executive, at startup. So the document is going to be made more detailed, and also will now extract the benefits and create a benefits management approach. Once all these documents have been done, we then assemble the PID, which is the project initiation documentation. The PID, once assembled, will then be passed back to the project board again. Then they would review and authorize the project. Once they authorize the project, what that really saying is it is now okay for the project manager to start execution of the project. But we don't jump into execution straight away. What happens is the project manager will then go to the first stage boundary, which is the stage boundary between the initiation stage and the first delivery stage. In this stage boundary, the project manager will create the stage plan for the first delivery stage. There's no end stage report at this point because we've not concluded any delivery stage. So that's the only thing that is done there. And project manager passes this document to the project board for them to authorize the stage. Once the stage is authorized, it means that the project manager can now go into the controlling stage process. Remember, all the activities of the project board is done in directing the project process. That's why it is running across the other processes. Okay? So In controlling the stage, the project manager is giving work packages to the team managers. They are functioning in managing product delivery. These two processes work together during the stages, the controlling the stage and the managing product delivery. Controlling the stage is where the project manager is carrying out his own activities, while managing product delivery is where the team managers and team members are carrying out their own activities. So the project manager gives the team managers their work package. The team managers will create a plan in managing product delivery and agree to the work package given by the project manager. Then they go into execution with their team members until they deliver. Of course, once they deliver, they hand it over and then we close the stage. So if everything in the stage has been concluded, the project manager will then go to the next stage boundary, which is going to be the stage boundary between the just concluded stage and the upcoming stage. So at this particular stage boundary, now we'll now have to create an end stage report. We'll create the stage plan for the next stage, and then we'll have to update the project plan and the business case. All these things I have taken time to notice in those columns of the processes, as you can see. Now, once all that has been done, the stage plan created and the end stage report is passed to the project board, where they can now authorize the next stage as well. So when they authorize the next stage, the project manager goes into controlling the stage process, calls all the team members and team managers who are involved in that stage. They go into managing product delivery process. All right. While they're carrying on their activities, he's monitoring what they're doing in controlling the stage. They're executing the activities in managing product delivery. They work hand in hand. The two processes work hand in hand until all stage activities are concluded, and then the project manager now goes into the stage boundary again. So this cycle of stage boundary going into DP authorizing the stage and the controlling the stage and managing product delivery, being active during this stage, and then once it's concluded, goes to managing the stage boundary again. This cycle goes on and on and on until we have gone through all the management stages. So if it's at the final stage, what then happens is once all stage activities are concluded, it means the final project product has been concluded, and then we'll now go into closing the project process. So in closing a project process, you see that we now do the handing over to the senior users. Then we'll do the final updates of the project plan and the business case, and then evaluate the project. Then we'll create an end project report, and of course the lessons report. And of course the project manager would then send recommendation to the project board for the project to be closed. So all the documents created will pass to the project board as well. And once that is done, the project board will then engage all the external stakeholders and inform them that the project is about to be closed, they shouldn't send resources again and all that. And once that is done, they will then authorize closure, and operations kicks off after that. Now, to show you the equation I have created from this process flow, you see that I have used the acronym. So you see the full process equation is SU to DP, then from DP to IP, from IP to DP, then from DP back to SB, then SB to DP, DP to CS engaging with MP at the same time, and then you see that it goes to CP and then to DP. So I made it that short to make it easy to write down, but I'll explain in detail what they mean in the other slides as highlighted. So you see in the next equation, I have highlighted the first four activities or the first four processes that come up in sequence, which is the SU to DP to IP to DP. So that is simply what we call in PRINCE2 the control start, which is where first of all we establish viability, then we establish baselines before we go into execution. All right, and then you see the next four highlighted. We have SB, DP, CS, and MP. Now, there's a cycle here. So SB, DP, CS, and NP, then goes back to SB, DP, CS, and NP, then it goes back to SB, DP, CS, and NP. It's just to let you know that that particular highlighted portion of it is cyclic. It goes on and on and on, depending on the number of management stages that you have. Now, once you've gone through the final stage, which is where the CSMP will be active, the next that happens now is we go into CP, all right? And then from CP, we're now going to DP that now closes the project. So that is the simple equation I have created here to make it easy to understand. I believe this has been helpful, and you can ask questions, you can send me your questions via WhatsApp, and we can always discuss further. So thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely day.